Hello and welcome everyone to Transform One Family Relationship in 12 Days, How to Break Through the Blocks to a Connected and Fulfilling Relationship. And we all have one of those relationships in our family that's a little sticky or there's some tension that exists. And so this summit is to bring you lots of different experts, relationship experts, family experts, parent experts, so that they can share their ideas of how you can transform that family relationship that has a bit of tension. So I'm very excited to introduce today Marina J, all the way from Australia. Welcome, Marina.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. Just a little bio about Marina. She is a relationship expert and best-selling author. She's also a very well-acclaimed speaker, and she teaches women one of the most important skills of all, how to turn your power on and get your fabulous back after upset with him or with her or with life in general. She's also known as the relationship goddess, and she focuses on you and the relationship you have with yourself because this sets the tone for every relationship. So she's also the creator of the Turn Yourself On system, a powerful program for women who want fast, deep transformation and healing. And she comes from a long family history of psychotherapists and authors. She did start out as a yoga instructor, and she loves to continually write, and she appears in magazines, newspapers, websites, TV, and radio. So welcome, Marina.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Is there anything else you would like to add to that bio that would be helpful for the viewers to know?
Really, I think what I'm about is helping women create a life that turns them on. And you know when you're turned on and you know when you're turned off. And so it's really about getting your power back and really living that life you know is waiting for you.
Excellent. So if a woman wants to transform a relationship with a partner or herself, like where do we start? How do we start that transformation process?
Absolutely, because when you're in it, when you're in a relationship with somebody and they're upsetting you, they're annoying you, you're rolling your eyes, you're walking away, you're feeling like you're on your own, you're thinking, I just want him to see me. I just want him to get it. I'm sick and tired that he doesn't pick the clothes up off the floor, or he's not doing this, or he's not doing that. And it is, you're right. But the way that we start is with the relationship with you, the relationship you're currently having with yourself, because that sets the tone for every single relationship you're ever going to have and every single situation you're going to ever be in. And it sets your level of success. So that's where I start, always with my clients, or if I'm talking to somebody, it always starts with you. And so the first couple of months that I do with my clients, it doesn't matter about him, it doesn't matter about her, it doesn't matter about them. We actually start with you. And if you think about it, that is how you turn your power on, because they're going to do what they're going to do. But as soon as you start with yourself, you will already feel better. You'll already sleep better. And that's why we start with you.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm just noticing that I have, the sun is just going by, so I'm going to quickly get rid of that sun in my face.
Oh, nature.
There we go, that's better. Okay, so we're back to transforming that relationship, and if we're going to start with us, and I like the analogy of the light switch, you turn yourself on, that there's actually something, an action that we must need to do. Can you go a little deeper into that?
Absolutely. So you're either living a life that turns you on, or you're living a life that turns you off. You're either in a relationship that turns you on, or you're in a relationship that, quite frankly, turns you off. And you know when you're turned off. I call it dry out. It's a little term that I coined a little while ago. It's in my book. Dry out has nothing to do with how much money you have, how you look, how successful you are. It's got everything to do with the relationship that you have with yourself And so dry out is about when you feel sucked dry by him, by her, or just by life in general. And you can be the richest woman in town and have it, or the poorest woman in town and have it. So it's all about actually turning on the parts of you that you need to heal that relationship. So that's where I start.
And how does one identify how to flick the switch, like how to turn on when you're feeling that kind of dried out?
Yeah, you look at the people around you. So, I often say we weren't born with like a mirror, like a rear view mirror for a car, sort of just stuck to our heads. But we can see ourselves. So we've been given people around us to show us the relationship we're having with ourselves. And so the first thing you do is, if you're in that situation right now, look at him or look at her or look at them or look at your kids. Children are the biggest amplifiers of what's going on for us. Look at them and you say to yourself, how are they treating me right now? And just write it down right now as you're listening to this. How is he treating me right now? And so you might write down, he's putting me last. He's not listening to me. He doesn't say what he's going to do, when he's going to do it. So he says he's going to come home at 6. He comes home at midnight. Okay? So whatever it is, and I'm not bashing men here. I'm just looking at it from, this is what I hear from so many women. Write it down and then ask yourself, where am I doing that to myself? Look down at what you just wrote, and where you've written him or them or her, substitute it to I or me. Where am I putting myself last? Where am I not listening to me, to my inner voice? Where am I actually not acting on what I know to be true? Where am I abandoning myself or rejecting myself? It never started with him. It actually started with you. So this takes a lot of bravery. It's hard to do, but when you actually look at it, it's very empowering. So this is the process that I call the sticky situation. It's like unsticking yourself from this sticky situation. So when you've realized, well, actually, I'm doing this to myself, the next thing you say is, well, what do I wish that he would just do? And just write it down. And you're going to write down, I want him to see me as his number one. I want to be important. I want to be whatever it is. And then I'm going to ask you to, where you've written him, go back and substitute it for me or I. I need to make myself important. I need to be this for myself right now. And then actually take action on it. Don't worry about him, just start. Because when you start, and that's your self-love talking now, take that action within the next 30 minutes of you figuring it out. And it might be going outside just to sit down with a cup of tea, if it's not snowing, if it's a nice sunny day, wherever it is. Because you lead it. Women set the tone for their families in the relationship. It's never men, it's always women. If you think back to when you were little, whether your dad went up and down with his moods or whatever, if you lived with a strong woman, what you'll find is it didn't matter what your dad did as much. If he suddenly was unhappy and then he got happy again, you're like, oh, nice, welcome back. But when the woman of the household is down, my God, everybody feels it. Everybody feels it. And when she's up, she just gives naturally, she's happy, everybody feels it. So women set the tone. So don't worry about what's been. You can begin now.
So we take that time to focus on the now and looking forward to where we want to go. If we start to take these, I guess, like inspirational actions and taking care of ourselves and self-love, what could we expect in relationships? Like, what will change?
Everything will change. First of all, you'll change. That's the first thing, is that you'll change. You will feel better inside. You'll be kinder towards yourself. I self-love, to me, my definition is the act of kindness towards yourself. It's the act of being kind to you. So, I would ask anybody listening to this right now, ask yourself, how kind are you being to yourself right now? How kind are you being to yourself right now? And in that moment, you know what? If you're listening to this and you need to go for a pee, don't hold it in. press pause and go. If actually really you're quite thirsty and you're noticing that your glass is not full, go fill it up. Soon as you start doing that, it's like an unseen gas. I call it the self-love gas. People around you inhale it and they don't realize they're inhaling it, but they will start treating you differently. And you know what? If they don't, you won't tolerate it. So you won't let yourself be around people that are not going to treat you with love and respect. And what I find is when a woman's self-love lifts, the people around her will either lift with her or they'll just drop away, and then new people will come in. And the new people that will come in are going to be on that level that she wants, needs, and is already doing towards herself. So, yeah.
It sounds very inspirational, like when you fill up your own cup with self-love, that things just naturally start to change. Now, we are all human, and there's going to be those moments of tension when he or she or them walk in the door again, and there's yelling or something. What can we do kind of in those moments of tension?
Yeah, so let's paint that picture. Let's just say you work from home and you've got a couple of kids and it's dinner time. They're asking you, where's my sports kit? Mummy, can you do homework with me? You're cooking. Quite frankly, none of it's turning you on. You'd actually really rather be completely somewhere else. He comes home and he's like, hi, quick peck on the cheek. And then he asks you, do you need any help? What are you going to say? If you've had a day of being really good to yourself, you're going to say, sure. But if you've had a day of compromise, exhaustion, irritation, you're going to say to him, I'm fine. I'm fine. And as soon as you say that, he hears, she's fine. And, and then you turn away and you're like, oh my God, can't he see that I'm not fine? I'm going crazy here, right? And he might just go, I'll just go up for a quick shower. And in your head, you're going, oh, fine, you go for a quick shower. Well, enjoy your shower. And all the while, you are literally exhausted. You're in dry out. So what happens for a guy is he comes home, he hears that you're fine. He doesn't understand that's woman code for, I'm not fine, help me now. He sees that you're annoyed, but he doesn't get that you're annoyed because you're overwhelmed. He just thinks you're always annoyed. That's just you. He doesn't get that he could actually make a difference. And the reason he doesn't get it is because he doesn't see what you're feeling. He just he just hears what you're saying to him. And he goes, oh, well, she's talking to me like that. I'm not hearing that she's in pain. I'm just hearing how she feels about me, which is this big. And so he goes, right, well, I'm not needed. I'll go off and shower. Maybe I'll stick the telly on. Meanwhile, you're seething inside. You're now really, really angry. And let's face it, this isn't just one day. This is lots and lots of days. So this is like the microcosm of the macrocosm. This is what happens. Men are designed to produce. Most men, if you think about the men in your life, they're pretty good receivers, aren't they? Like, they're good at receiving. They can receive compliments. When they're tired, they'll stop cleaning the house. They'll sit down and watch the sport on a Saturday. Meanwhile, you're probably necking a bit of coffee, a bit of chocolate just to keep going so you can finish the bathroom off. Men are great at receiving. Women are great at producing and doing. We're actually really bad at receiving. We're getting better. We're getting better as time goes on. And so men and women, men are great at receiving, women are great at producing. Men that are happy, well, and confident are great at producing. To say he's been producing all day at work, but he comes home to this amazing woman who's doing it all single-handedly, he kind of goes, she doesn't need me. I mean, she's angry, but she's always angry, but that doesn't actually mean anything. So I'll stop. And he stops producing for you and you stop receiving for him. So in relationships that are not happy, she's producing and he's receiving. And that never works. It needs to be the other way around, where she genuinely receives. And so at this point in a conversation, I normally get a woman rolling her eyes and she goes, well, you haven't met my Jeremy yet. And you know what? I haven't met your big bear of a husband. I haven't met him. I don't know him, but I would bet a lot of money and everything I own that you haven't known how to ask for what you want from him and actually receive it, receive what you need. You haven't known how to ask, and at some point you've just given up. And we do, don't we, as women? We kind of go, what's the point? I'm so disappointed with him. It's just quicker to do it on my own, because then at least I won't be disappointed again, because that's painful. You know, it's really painful. And so with that, it's like you just haven't known how to ask. You haven't known how to make him your hero, where he produces and gives you everything you want. And so the funny thing is, the more that you ask a man for what you want, the closer you get, you'll become a team. He will put you first. He will see you. All of those things. The less you ask him for what you want, you won't sit close. You'll be like parallel lives. It feels counterintuitive because most women have stopped asking for what they want because they used to and they've given up. It's painful, isn't it, to go back there again? You know, and maybe he answers you in a way that's negative or he's irritated and all of that. But it's actually just about reconfiguring it again so we get your relationship back to where you receive, because that's really important.
So this self-love, it's huge in transforming a relationship. So as women, we really need to be better receivers. How do we do that after years and years and cultural standards or expectations? How do we receive?
How do we receive? Okay, so first of all, we often need to realize that we're built to receive. And so we all have a masculine side in us. So men and women, we all have masculine and we all have feminine. What happens for a lot of women is we have the masculine there and the feminine's there. So we're not saying stop doing stuff. We're not saying stop being this independent, amazing woman. We're saying lift up your feminine energy so it's a match. So you are actually balanced in giving and receiving. Because most relationships where you're resenting that person, if you're resenting him right now, it's because your receiving is there. If you think about it, if you receive the same amount of support, you probably give more as well. You know, we women need to receive. We're actually built to receive. We women physiologically are built to receive. And that's something I can go into if we've got a bit more time later on. But the first thing we can do is say, well, out of everything that you're wanting right now, probably 50% of it, you're going to have to ask for it. Okay, so do you like asking for stuff? What happens immediately if you've got to ring somebody to look after your kids? Do you kind of leave it to the last minute? And when you do ask, is it kind of loaded? So it feels like, oh, and then God forbid if she says no, right? Because you're going to be really in a tailspin there. And so it sounds like, hi, it's me. Look, I'm just wondering, look, if you're busy, it's absolutely fine. On Saturday, and it's like that. It's awkward. It's exhausting.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. And then even after she says, sure, you're going to go, are you sure? I don't want to be a bother. You'll keep trying to make sure it's okay, because we've forgotten we're actually designed to receive. We're actually meant to receive. Now, it's a pleasure for her to help you. She actually loves to help. If she rang you up, even if you were tired and you didn't want to do it, it wouldn't be a drama for you. You'd just say yes, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. The one that's the most in pain is the one that's asking, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, because we don't like to ask, but actually female energy is all about collaboration. When we do it on our own, we get lonely, it's too hard. We actually want to have more collaboration. So it's actually about asking for what you want.
So can we go back to that female or feminine and masculine energy again and look at it from the male perspective? They have these two energies as well. And are they usually more balanced, or how does that work?
think, even though men are really good at receiving, I think their feminine energy also needs to lift, because when your feminine energy lifts, it's all about self-love and kindness. And if you're kind to yourself, you can't be unkind to another. I mean, you actually can't. So if you think about on our planet today, we've got environmental issues, we've got wars raging. Well, wars are masculine. Okay, if you ever go to a club, if you've ever been dancing and you go to the loo and there's like a queue of women, what happens in that bathroom when you're there and someone's putting on some lipstick and someone's just readjusting themselves? You get chatting, you have a laugh, you end up walking out of there, and maybe your boyfriend's been waiting for you, your husband, and he's like, where were you? And you just go, oh my God, had the best conversation just then. I just had the best time in the loo. You go into a guy's loo, what's going on in there? Silence. No one's talking. God forbid you look at another guy, he might punch you. It's just different. It's not right or wrong, it's just different. If men have more feminine energy in them, they can't be unkind to another person. How can wars actually occur if you're feeling so much for yourself, but also for the other person? You can't hurt that other person. I mean, you actually can't. And then what gets brought into the picture is actually collaboration, where it's talking, it's listening to the other person and having empathy and understanding where they're at. It doesn't make them right, but what it does make is for a whole different world where we actually we're together. It's about unity, and that's feminine energy. So when you're in your masculine energy, you can feel a bit like you're at war with the outside world. You can feel like, oh, for God's sakes, if the lights don't turn red, I'm going to scream, or green or whatever. But when you've just had a massage, when you've had a great conversation with your girlfriend and your feminine energy is lifted, when that beautiful man by your side has actually made you happy, where's the war? You think about environment. If these people, just say it's heads of companies pumping in lots of chemicals into rivers or oceans, if they've got a powerful woman by their side who has really high feminine energy, and he is all about making her his number one, he can't go to work the next day and turn a blind eye to what's going on, because she'll have something to say about it. So it's not just for you, it's actually for the planet. And if you think about it, when we were at school, school's pretty masculine, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Like, it's masculine, right? So absolutely, yeah. So get good grades, Deborah. Deborah, you only got 7 out of 10. Deborah must do better next time. God forbid Deborah talks to the girl next to her. Shh. And of course, what do the young girls do? What do teenage girls do? They talk. Yeah. They're meant to talk. I had this conversation with my daughter's teacher. She was talking about how my daughter was talking, and without even realizing it, I just grabbed her hand and I said, she's meant to. She's the new wave coming through this planet where we need to talk more and actually be together in unity to create solutions. So that's my take on it.
And these strategies that you're talking about is not just about transforming then your relationship with yourself. That's where it starts, with the self-love. But then with your intimate partner, it has the potential, once you fill yourself up, to impact your children. It can go even beyond that with your neighbors or your girlfriends. And now we're talking about a global awareness, right? So these strategies are hugely foundational and important on a very large scale. So thank you, Marina.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, if people want to learn more about what you have to offer, where would they go, or what can you tell us about you and things coming up for you in the future?
Sure. So if you are determined to create a life that turns you on, if you really know right now, because I think we women always know that there's more for us, there's more potential, And it's just that gap. It's like, I know I have it in me, but how do I get there? I have a free gift for you. If you go onto my website, marinaj.net, which is marinaj.net, go on there and just pop your name and email in. You'll receive your free gift. It's on the homepage. I've got my book, Turn Yourself On. So this is my book. See, it's red and pink. Love that, love that. I wanted to create a cover that I could almost lick. So this is for you to really turn your power on. So, you know, it depends where you're at. I think every woman at some point needs a best friend, and that's why I wrote it, because, you know, I need this. I need to be able to turn. There's lots of things in here for whatever you need. If people have been bitchy towards you, if you feel like you're going through the same thing over and over and over, you can do the processes in here. I believe in deep self-healing. So it's about healing yourself at a very deep level. Yes, it's about self-love, but it's actually about healing the relationship you have with you. So it's doing the dark stuff. It's falling in love with your dark side. It's seeing that guy. Men actually want to make us happy. We've just forgotten that. Most men will respond beautifully when you ask them for what you want. The men out there, I think men are amazing. I really, really do. So my book is available. It's around the world, Amazon, all good bookshops. Turn Yourself On by Marina J. And I think that the best things that we can do for ourselves is not the pressure of, oh my God, it's another thing to do, self-love. I've got to fill myself up. Because you just think, I've already got that list. It's like another thing. But it's about, if you can today, just before you hit overwhelm, half an hour before you hit overwhelm, stop and receive. And say to yourself, what is it that I need to receive? It's not about doing. It's about receiving. What can I do to receive right now? And you might just want to sit and eat a bit of chocolate. You might want to just get in the bath. I've been known to have 3 baths during the day. I had a really bad day. I'm like, I am getting back in. You might be working 3 jobs right now. So you know what? When you're at the lights, put some music on and sing out loud. You deserve to receive, because, you know, your happiness is everything. That's why you're doing everything that you're doing right now, isn't it? Yeah, that's why you're paying the mortgage. It's why you're trying with him. It's why you're doing. It's all about your happiness. So, yeah.
So I'm curious, what inspired you to write this book?
That's a really good question. When my clients work with me, they often write furiously and they end up with a book of sorts from the notes that they've taken. And I actually felt quite bad. I remember thinking, damn, because they'd often say to me, do you have anything you can send? And I'd go, yeah, sure. And I have sheets that I could send, but I really wanted them to have support in between sessions so they could keep working on themselves, because I think we all have the ability to heal ourselves, don't we? We all do. It's just finding the right way, and a way that's actually fun and deep, not just deep and not just fun. Because I think there's a lot of stuff out there that's quite faffy. You know, it's a lot of books, I'm sorry to say, but there are a lot of books out there that I think can leave the reader feeling quite desperate, because you read them and the book is written, I've done it, and because I've done it, so can you.
Right.
I want to know how. Give me the how. Give me the words to say. So in my book, if you want to know how to ask, I give you the words. I give you what to say when he says no, when he walks away, when he says, I'll do it in my own time. What do you say to that? Because we all need support. So that's why I wrote it. I could feel my clients and I thought, this is something I need. You know, I want to be able to open the book at any page. There's hundreds of processes in there to actually heal myself. You know, and I'm more of a speaker than a writer, so I've written this as if I'm talking to you. So when you read it, you'll kind of hear my voice. Yeah, that's why I wrote it.
Well, we are all very fortunate that you were inspired to read it, and it's available for all of us. And thank you so much for sharing your free gift and for sharing your time and your wisdom with us here today. On behalf of the entire audience, thank you. Thank you so much. I also want to thank our viewers, because in our busy, hectic lives, there's lots of other things that they could be doing, that you could be doing as a viewer. and you chose to be here with Marina J and I. And I hope that you have found a few different nuggets or jewels of wisdom here. I know I have, and things that I can apply right away. Please stay with us for the next interviews. There's going to continue to be more information, and we just never know when that extra piece of information that will truly transform our relationship with ourselves, with him, with them, with in-laws, with whoever. But there's lots of information yet to come. So thank you very much for joining us. And until next time, have a wonderful day.